Grandparents, 60s M and F, have re-entered my F/19 life after my mother, F/dead, died. They've asked that I move across the country to be with them. I've never even met them. I grew up in a dysfunctional, poor, and at times, dangerous, family. My mom was an alcoholic and moderate user of drugs while my father was on disability for a while, but also a heavy drug user. He was in and out of our lives. He'd come into it for a couple of years at a time and then disappear. My mom drank and would do drugs when she could score some. We moved every couple of months, and I grew up in poverty. For a time, I was in foster care because of this. I never knew my mother's family and only occasionally met my father's family. My father kept saying that my mom was from somewhere on the East Coast, and they had a nice life and were very powerful. He once told me they tried to ruin their lives, so I never had a positive opinion of them. I didn't want to come across their path and have them hurt me, too. My mom died from alcohol-related liver and kidney disease 2 years ago, and I received emails from people who were my mom's family asking about a funeral. We didn't have one. I received a letter saying that if I ever wanted to meet my grandparents that I could always contact them, and it told me how. I was furious. I couldn't believe they knew how to reach us. My dad used to beat me, screamed at me and tormented me. My mother would get drunk and egg him on and then pretend to be sorry. They exposed me to people who sexually abused me. My mother would get high at a friend's house and he'd do awful things. My mother drank our grocery money, hocked everything I ever had, and basically kept us as poor as possible. She died at 37 but looked like she was 70. Her hair was grey, her teeth missing, and the skin on her face sagged. I was so angry that they could have gotten me out of this but let me suffer. I let a year go by but figured that I should eventually learn about my background, medical history and the like. My father is gone again, so I probably won't hear from him for several years, so I figured because COVID, it would be hard to meet in person and it would be easier to keep things online. Connected with them via email and received a follow-up from my grandmother almost immediately. We exchanged emails. She scanned me photos my mom had sent. I finally asked her why she never came to help. I got an email back that was huge. It described numerous attempts to step in, to try and get custody, but how they were blocked. There was detail about a court case, which I vaguely remember. Turns out my grandparents tried to get Arizona courts to send a minor child to South Carolina, which they refused. My grandmother said it was the biggest regret in life that she couldn't save me. She said they even considered hiring bounty hunters, but he talked them out of it. I met them on Skype and seeing them was shocking. They're in their mid-60s but look like they're no older than 50. My grandfather bikes every day, is a practicing surgeon and volunteer at local groups. My grandmother is a retired physician who now rehabs animals and looks after her other grandchildren as much as she can. I have 2 aunts and an uncle. All of them are doctors and they all look so much like my mom. They even have her weird southern drawl. My aunts cried a lot and my uncle offered to help any way he could. It was so bizarre to see them, so weird to see people who remind me of my mother. I asked what happened and got a very interesting story. My mom was a normal person but hit her head at 15 and just completely lost it. My mom had a weird dent in her skull. They tried everything, but lost her to drugs. Experts said to cut her off to stop supporting her habits. What surprised me was that my mom had told me something similar once. She was on an ice bender and told me this bizarre story of falling out a window and being a changed person. She often said weird things when she was doing too much ice, but I guessed that one was true. Over the last 7 months we've Skyped 1 to 2 times a week. They've begun sending me money and even gave me a credit card for emergencies. Recently though they made me an offer, leave Arizona and move in with them. They'll pay for school, help me out financially and get me good health insurance. They want the best for me and said they'll send trucks to get my things and fly me east. I've never met them in person and I've never really left where I live. Suddenly they're asking me to go live with them. I was shocked and terrified but also, it's finally a way out. I've always wanted to be a vet, but my grades in high school were crap. They said they have ways to help and not to worry. I could finally do something and get away from working at Walmart. Part of me thinks this is the best option. Part of me worries about what it would mean. The thing is, So far everything they've ever said makes perfect sense. My mom did have a head injury. I do remember going to court and hearing about court cases. My father told me that my grandparents were powerful people and to fear them, but their whole family seems normal. I gather they all attend church pretty regularly, which I don't, but other than that, they don't seem to be bad or difficult people. I have nobody to talk to about this. I'm so sick of being poor that I could scream and this would make everything different. I just don't have anyone's outside perspective. Too long didn't read. Grandparents that I've never met asked me to go and live with them. I'm considering it because I'm broke and live in a dumping as, and this would help me get a huge leg up. Not sure what to do. Take them up on their offer. As someone who came from a neglectful and abusive home and gained contact with my grandmother at 22, after 4 years no contact with my mother, it was the absolute best thing that ever happened to me. I'm almost 31 now and my grandmother has changed my life, just with her love and support. It feels like you have the opportunity to have that. X2. Not going for it would be a mistake. It sounds like they genuinely love you and always have but weren't allowed access to you, just like my nana. Worst case scenario, you hate it there and it doesn't work out. You still haven't lost anything. Best case, you gain the almost parental relationships that you were missing, you gain unconditional love and support for the first time, and your entire life is better for it. I'm so glad you found each other. Wishing you all of the luck and love. I don't see that you have anything to lose by going, and I see that you have a lot you would be gaining. Go. Please. Your ship has just come in. It won't be easy, there will be a culture shock, but if they are as genuine as your story seems, you will be surrounded by love. I want you to go and post a big update 6 months from now about how much better your life is. I'm pulling for you. Source: am grandfather. Go. Grandchildren are what we live for. They're going to be so happy to get to know you. It will make them happy and proud to be able to help you out. Think of it as a chance for them to make good where their daughter failed, or where they may feel they failed their daughter. This is a great second shot at life. I would take it. I was given a similar chance by a family friend and it changed my life forever. I got to go to college and had so much more opportunity than I would have ever had otherwise, and I am so much better for it that I can't explain in less than 1,000 pages. Your father had his own relationship with them and I suspect they didn't like him, so I would not base your opinion of them on his works. If they have no one else, you could be their caretaker down the road at some point. Something to consider. Your efforts would likely be rewarded given how generous they sound. Good luck! Exclamation mark. Reacted poorly when my 28 daughter came out of closet. Need help apologizing. My daughter and I are very close. I had her regrettably young at 15, but it's also been a blessing because I consider us good friends along with being mother/daughter. She lives down the road from me, we see each other 3 or 4 times a week usually, and we text here and there almost every day. She's my best friend. I have noticed lately something different about her. Caring more about her appearance, having more plans with friends and being home less, always on her phone texting when we were together, singing love songs all the time. I knew she was seeing someone. My daughter has very rarely dated, so I was happy for her and impatiently waiting for her to tell me about the mystery man. Then over the weekend, my daughter was acting very strange while we were hanging out and I asked her what was up. She blushed and said there was something she had to tell me. Immediately my head went into thinking that she's pregnant. I don't know why, it just seemed like she had huge news to tell me and that's where my head went. But instead she said that she's met someone and that her name is insert name. I was pretty shocked. I'd never known my daughter to like women, so I asked why a girl. She just looked at me like a deer in the headlights, so I asked if this was a new thing and she said she'd always been with women. When she went to college she had a few boyfriends, never met as she went to college out of state. She would mention male celebrities that were good looking. She'd occasionally mention going out on dates with boys or having a crush on one. She'd casually mentioned that she was on dating sites looking for someone. I don't know why she was so afraid to tell me me that she was looking for a woman. So it was just a surprise to find out this huge secret of hers. So I had some questions after that about the past, because she had told me about boyfriends and such, and I was pretty confused. Finding out she had this entire second secret life just made me start crying. Then she started crying too and said she shouldn't have told me. She left after that. I know I handled it the wrong way. Since she left, I just wanted to hug her and tell her I don't care who you're with as long as they treat you good and you're happy. I want to apologize and tell her all that stuff now. I called once and left a voicemail saying I'm sorry and to call. I haven't gotten a response back yet. How should I proceed? I want to apologize and hear about her new girlfriend, but I don't want to come at her too strongly if she wants space from me. Frown. She probably thought you were reacting negatively to her sexuality, and not to her keeping it a secret. I don't care who you're with as long as they treat you good and you're happy. Send her this over text and apologize for your reaction. I wouldn't bring up her hiding things from you because coming out is scary and you hear a lot of stories about those not going well. She was probably scared. Give her some space and let her come to you. Keep being supportive and she'll come around. I did not cry because you date women. I cried because I've done something to make you think you couldn't share this part of your life and identity with me. You are perfect and you could never disappoint me. I love you, all of you, just the way you are. Thank you. Sending this verbatim as a text right now. Send her this post. You explained it really well. It will be okay. I, 16M, came out to my parents, and my mom was mad. But my stepmom defended me. And I want to thank her, and I'd if I want to stay with my mom anymore. So because of all the snow we've been getting, I wasn't ever really able to go back to my dad's house, but today we could. And I made sure my dad and stepmom would be home, and I told my mom to come inside for a minute. Basically, I was just really nervous to come out, so I figured coming out once is better than twice. So that's why I told all three of them at once. But basically, my dad and stepmom were happy and were glad I felt safe telling them. But my mom was like, mad. And she started crying too, and she was telling me how she never thought her son of all people would be gay. But my stepmom kinda started to go off on her, and tell her how I am the exact same kid I was. Except now she knows I want to stick my dock in a guy instead of a girl and that it affects her in no way. And I love the way she explained it too, lol. It was kinda funny. But yeah, then they started to go at it for a minute or so until my mom just left. So yeah, that happened. And I've been thinking about it basically all day. If I want to keep going to my mom's house. I never really liked it too much anyway, because she never talked to me or seemed interested in my day and stuff. She would only talk about her day if she even talked to me. And she would never do stuff with me either. And she wouldn't cook or anything. Basically, she just made sure I always had chicken nuggets, fries, ketchup, and Sprite, and that's as much as she would talk to me about me. But I always was kinda like, I'm sure she's just stressed or something, or one day she'll actually seem to gaff about me, but that day never came. And today she kinda proven to me that that day will probably never come. But my stepmom and dad on the other hand always want to talk to me and do stuff with me. Like typically I come home from school, and my stepmom is making a snack. So we sit down and talk for a bit just about school and other stuff. And she will help me with my science and history homework because she loves science and history. So we do that. And then I just go to my room and do my own thing for a bit. And then tea dinner we all talk for a bit. And then we watch a show or a movie or something. And then me and my dad will spend time doing something if something needs fixed or something. And he's actually taught me a lot about a lot of different things. And on Saturdays or Sundays we will typically do something together, like go see a movie, go out for dinner, bowling, stuff like that. Not as much this year BC of COVID, but we've been doing it more recently. And my stepmom talks about mental health a lot, which is really nice. Can tell my dad tries to talk to me about it, but every time he just gets really awkward and stuff. and I do too. But it's nice BC, I talk to my stepmom a lot about it, and she always tells me that I can talk to her about anything and stuff like that. And I've really been considering therapy recently, so if I decide I want to try it, I know I can tell her and she won't like judge me or anything. And she just does a lot for me too. She clearly cares about me, and she tries to make sure I'm always as happy as can be. And she's always happy to help me if I need a bit of help with anything. And it's just kinda the small things she likes to do for me. Like she makes sure every week that when I get there all of my laundry is done, and she will sweep my room and stuff. Which I don't mind doing that stuff, but she likes to do it, and it's one of the ways she shows she cares. My mom doesn't do anything to show me she cares about me besides providing me with kinda the things she is legally required to by law. She's never been mean to me or anything, just not very caring. I think you'll get why I mean. But I don't know if I want to live with her anymore. She doesn't seem to really care about me, and she clearly doesn't accept me for being gay, and my dad's house is just a much better environment in general. My stepmom has always seemed like more of a mother figure to me anyway. And also I want to just kinda thank her for being so amazing, but I don't know how to. I was thinking like a little card that I could write in and maybe draw her something on the back. That could be cute. She swears she loves my art even though it looks like a small child made it, and she even has one I drew when I was like 10 in their room framed on her dresser. This was a big mess I feel like, and I think I got off topic a lot, so sorry about that. So any advice? I'll try to respond to everyone.